Do I think Inertia is good for Escape from Tarkov? Yes. Do I think it makes the game more fun? No. So recently the topic of Inertia has reared its ugly head once again. If you're anywhere near Tarkov Twitter, you may have noticed one or two people talking about Inertia and how it does or does not belong in the game, yada yada, etc. This same conversation happened when Inertia first got introduced a couple months ago. Everybody had super strong reactions to it because it was quite jarring, going from the old movement style where there was no inertia, you could turn on a dime, to the new current movement style where you really have a lot of weight to you whenever you move around. The hype died down for a little while, but it seems to have come back, and it's the hot topic now on Twitter that everyone's talking about. Normally, I try and stay away from these kinds of things. These opinion pieces, they're not really for me. I think everybody has their own opinion on whatever they feel is best for the game, and whether that happens or not, whether they implement that or not, it doesn't really change a whole lot in the end. Most of us still continue to play the game even if they do things that we don't like. It's just the way it is, because Tarkov is actually a really good game. But anyway, I have been playing this game since mid-2018, and let me tell you, Inertia is not the first game mechanic to shake things up. There have been many changes along the way, too many for me to even list in this one video, that have just turned the course of Escape from Tarkov's ship and made it a different game, changed it some way mechanically. There's been a lot since 2018. I'm not saying I'm an expert in deciding whether something belongs in Tarkov or not, but I have been through my fair share of mechanical changes, so I feel like I have at least some good things to offer on this topic. Whether you think I'm qualified or not is up to you, but I imagine if you're still here at this point, you would at least want to hear what I have to say. So let's talk about it. On one hand, Tarkov is a tactical FPS where inertia makes sense. On the other hand, Tarkov pre-inertia was beloved by everybody for years, and during its time pre-inertia, the game exploded in popularity. Meaning, before inertia ever came about, Tarkov was a massively successful and loved game. So, in the context of Escape from Tarkov, where you have this slow, methodical, tactical FPS where your decisions should be smart and smart decision making should influence your success rate in the game. In that context, inertia makes a lot of sense, and here's why. Without inertia, what you have is an incredibly high skill ceiling for players that put enough time into the game to get really good. You had players who mastered movement, who mastered PvP, who mastered combat. So when it came to pre-inertia Tarkov, I think that a lot of the guys who were succeeding the most in PvP were the ones that could push the fastest and then react the fastest to whoever was on the other side of whatever they were pushing to. It was a matter of training your body and training your mind to be skilled enough to be able to push through a doorway, and immediately once you were through that doorway, decipher where the enemy was, lock onto him, and take him out before he could kill you. I think pre-inertia Tarkov, it was very skill-based as far as reactionary times. Fast forward to post-inertia, I think that aspect of the game has been dumbed down quite a bit, and it's not so much about the guys who have the fastest reactions anymore. It's more about who makes the smarter decisions in a fight. Now, of course, Tarkov was always about making the smarter decisions and always about being the better player, but there was a huge skew towards the direction of if you had good reactions and you could move quickly, you would likely win the fight, versus having to use more of decision making in your fights. There were so many times where you could just push and be skilled and win versus having to think about making a smarter play. Maybe straight pushing wasn't the play, maybe you needed to flank, maybe you could do XYZ instead of just straight pushing. And so here's like the real problem with that, right? Both editions of the game, pre-inertia, post-inertia, both versions of the game were really good and really fun for different reasons. That's what bugs me so much about when I see on Twitter that people can't understand how some people just prefer the older version of the game. They can't understand why they don't just enjoy the new stuff and just forget about the old stuff. Even those people who were saying that on Twitter, they loved Tarkov during that time where the old mechanics were at play. They enjoyed those mechanics as well. And again, that's just the big problem with this inertia discussion, is that the game was really awesome before inertia, and it's still really awesome now. Now, here's what I never see anyone bring up in any discussions ever. The true problem here is not what got added, it's when it got added. Because I guarantee you, if inertia had been in the game since the very first few months or years of the game's life cycle, we would not be having these discussions right now. It's a little odd, and I think this is why it gets so many people, why it's so jarring for so many people. It's a little odd to have a successful, beautiful, amazing game with one movement style for years, literally years. Tarkov succeeded without inertia. And then all this time later to suddenly go to inertia and nerf that movement that we all loved and enjoyed for years. That's why it's so jarring jarring for so many people is because inertia is probably something that should have been added a long time ago. But unfortunately, it wasn't, and unfortunately, it was just added recently. So if you're confused as to why so many people can't let go of the past, it's because we had 2, 3, 4, 5 years of a game with the old movement style that we all loved and enjoyed so much, and we've had about 2 or 3 months at this point with the new movement style, which is probably not even fully finished, by the way. This is just the first iteration of inertia, and I'm sure they're going to continue to work on it and tweak it, which leads me to my next point. What I would like to see is actually a little bit of a tweak to inertia, a little bit of a dumbing down of inertia. I think right now, the left, right, the AD movement, even when you have little to no gear on, is absolutely overtuned by far. If you move forward and backwards in Tarkov, you'll notice a certain rhythm there, and you move left to right, the rhythm is completely changed. It seems like 2 or 3x as much inertia moving left or right versus moving front or backwards. I know why they did that, because people were AD spamming moving left and right in doorways. In the old play style, you would just jiggle peek doorways to get information on your character and also potentially abuse the whatever desync mechanics were in the game. I'm not going to say that is or isn't what people were doing, because I don't think being able to move fast is why desync happens, because there are games where you can move much faster, like Apex or Call of Duty. I don't play those games, so I don't know if there's no desync, but if there is desync in those games, the player base is not crying for them to dumb down movement and to make people slower to eliminate desync. I never hear about that. But anyway, I think that the AD left-right movement is far overtuned and it needs to be brought back a little bit. I know what they were trying to do with the eliminating of the doorway jiggle peeking stuff, but I just don't think that's the way to do it. I don't think that adding a bunch of extra inertia to left-right movement is the smart play. I think it makes your character feel clunky and it's just not fun. So yeah, in the end, I think that inertia is good for Tarkov because it forces you to make smarter decisions about your engagements and your fights, and that's really what the vibe of Tarkov is all about. Playing the world to your advantage, flanking, being smart, making good decisions. It's not the most straightforward PvP game ever, although they accidentally created one of the best PvP games ever, which is their fault. They shouldn't have made their game so good. People wouldn't care about this as much if the game wasn't so good, if the PvP wasn't so good. So I get where Inertia fits with their master plan, their master version for the game, but at the same time, unfortunately, they made a game that was so much fun with the old movement that people got to enjoy for years. And again, that's their fault for making such a damn good game. They shouldn't have done it to us. If they were just going to change it up and make Inertia happen, they should have done it years ago. They shouldn't have let us experience that beautiful old movement. No matter what you say, there were thousands of people that enjoyed Tarkov pre-Inertia and that enjoyed the mechanics and the old movement. It is what it is. We don't have that anymore. I'm not going to say we need to eliminate Inertia because I don't think that's reasonable. But if you ever wonder why people can't let go of the past, it's because the game was too much damn fun back then. It's still fun now, but it's different. It's not the same. And that's why people debate this topic so heavily and why you have so many different opinions on it. Yeah, it is what it is. If you guys enjoyed my rambling, maybe give this video a like and hit the subscribe button. If you ever want to come watch me stream, I do stream at twitch.tv/finestxi. Come say hello or yell at me if you really hate this video and you want to let me know. If you really like this video and you want to support the channel even further, maybe check out the Patreon page. Over there, you can get early access to the videos I post on Patreon before these videos go to YouTube. And a special shout out to the VIP patrons Nick RSA, Dr. Johan, Calabag, Hugh6707, Jokes with Dad, Def Not Dallas Moreno, and Willie Boy Wonder. My name is FinestXi. I'll see you guys in the next one.